Thank you for watching. Make sure you subscribe to the channel and click that notify button, and you'll never miss a video again. Until I get through this Raw show today. I don't want to hear about Conan. I don't want to hear about Connor. I don't want to hear about CMLL. We're going to be talking about the final Raw, the final Monday Night Wrestling show on cable television after almost 40 years. I actually tried to figure it out and I couldn't. I don't think there was Monday Night Wrestling before Primetime Wrestling.
Not on cable TV.
I think Primetime Wrestling was the beginning of Monday Night Cable Wrestling. And it was Primetime Wrestling with Gorilla and Bobby, which was just like it was a, I can't say it was a great show, but I loved that show.
A lot of the matches were filler, but the banter was fantastic.
There was fantastic banter and
sometimes
skits.
Angles, sometimes too.
Yeah,
Great
Bobby,
skits, yeah.
Bobby and Gorilla would do skits. And like we watched the entire build-up to the Hogan-Andre match. And, I mean, it was really good. The stuff that they did building up that WrestleMania 3 match was really good. And the matches are nothing happening. Sometimes, what I actually loved about Primetime Wrestling, one of my favorite memories of the build to WrestleMania 3 is, I'm going to start coughing, I'm going to laugh so hard. They had a match, okay? I can't remember who was in it, okay? It doesn't matter. But it went like 17 atrocious, never-ending minutes, okay? And it was just like the most boring. Somebody will remember because we just reviewed it a couple of months ago. But it was just the most boring, nothing happening. Two geeks just like going on and on and on. And they went to a commercial break. And of course they go back and, Gorilla's talking about, blah, blah, blah. And, well, let's go back to this match. And they go back to the match. And it keeps going and going and going. And finally, the finish, I don't remember what it was, but it was like the guy dropped an elbow and pinned the dude. And the match is over. And they go back to the studio. And Gorilla Monsoon looks into the camera and totally deadpan. He just goes, I don't know why he didn't do that 16 minutes ago. I died. Absolutely died. Because apparently in Bobby Heenan's book, he talked about how when him and Gorilla did the show together, because, it's obviously, it's not live. They taped all of this stuff with Bobby and Gorilla, and then they throw to the big screen or whatever, and then they put the blue screen, and then, they show the match or whatever. So, in theory, Gorilla and Bobby could put a show together in like 15 minutes because they do their banter, and then they go back and they edit in all the matches, and that's your 2-hour show or whatever. Well, Bobby explains in his book that Gorilla is essentially Dave Meltzer, okay? He had to watch every match again. So when Gorilla would throw to a match on the big screen, he would actually watch the match, the whole match. And so he sat through that 16-minute insufferable match again, and then he had to bury it afterwards because it sucked. But anyway, you had Primetime Wrestling with Gorilla and Bobby, the taped show. And then later, it became an in-studio show. They had a live studio audience for Primetime Wrestling. Even Dave didn't remember this last night because I don't know if you guys are aware of this or not, but it sucked. It absolutely sucked because Bobby Heenan, this is why I thought it sucked when I was a kid. It might have sucked because it just sucked. But like to me, Bobby Heenan was a heel, okay? Gorilla Monsoon was a babyface. And so Bobby would troll him and he would just be, how Bobby Heenan was. And, as a kid, I thought Bobby was awesome. I thought he was hilarious. But because it was a studio, it was like, just shot in studio and there was no audience or whatever, I thought that like only I was in on the joke and that everybody else hated Bobby and everybody else loved Gorilla Monsoon. And I was like the only guy who got how awesome this Bobby Heenan character was. So then when they went to the live studio audience, Bobby's like still a heel. They're doing the same banter, but every time like Bobby's doing something heelish, like the audience is laughing. It's like a live studio audience laughing like a sitcom. And I thought, That just totally kills the vibe. Like, now everybody's in on the joke. Everybody realizes Bobby's funny. I hated it. It sucked. And then Vince would be there, and he's got his Zubaz on, and he's got his tank top, and he's all juiced up, and I was like, what am I watching here? So then finally, in 1993, they debut Monday Night Raw, a 1-hour show. And, the beginning, it was all right, but it wasn't, like, revolutionary or anything. It was just superstars on Monday, basically. And, but, they would start running more live shows, and it had a new vibe to it. And then, of course, the Monday Night Wars started. And contrary to the story that Eric Bischoff tells every last single solitary time, he absolutely will not learn or correct himself. Nitro started as a 1-hour show. Ted did not give them 2 hours on Monday night. It was 1 hour. And they went head-to-head, and Nitro put all the best matches and the big stars and everything on the show, and they started beating WWE. And then we had the Monday Night Wars. And then it all went to hell. And WCW died, and Raw remained on Monday nights from 2001 until yesterday. And now, it's gone. No more Monday Night Cable Wrestling. Instead of suffering through the YouTube chat, click like and subscribe.